Well, hello and welcome to Audionautic Deep Space Network, episode 54. I like seeing Curtis's big sigh of relief there. We're testing out some new streaming stuff, so we were a little unsure how that would all go, but hopefully it's going right. Let us know in the chat. On that note, we're live, so let us know what you're doing, what you've been up to in the chat. But this Deep Space Network is our weekly music production, technology, and marketing podcast. And today we're talking, well, something special to my heart, near and dear, a massive SP404 Mark II update, the 3.0 update. Then we'll talk the Cherry Audio Mercury-6 synth. Curtis has a little demo of that. And then we'll be going over some of the upcoming changes that Spotify laid out in their recent Stream On event. That just makes me think of Wayne's World with the game on. I don't know if you've seen those.
Yeah.
My name is Sunwarper, and with me today, as I've already said, though, is Curtis. How are you?
Yeah, mate. I'm good. Yeah.
Wait. I wanna test something out. Hold on.
Hey, there we go.
Carry
and
on.
That's me. I can see
carry
me.
on.
I can see all of me. I can't see you, and that makes me a little bit nervous. But I'm on.
Wait.
There we go. We're back. Yeah. Yes. We are live. We're trying out something new, powered by StreamYard. It's a new little piece of software that Sunwarper stumbled across, and we can do lots of finicky things like change stuff, and we can have our own names. And apparently, it will stop us, or it will save us from having to do some Mac Daddy edits. But I mean, we'll have to see how that goes down.
We shall see.
We shall see. Let us know if you like it, if it's anything different. I know that we've got a little duck in the corner right by my head. I kind of like it personally.
Yeah, it's a stand-in for Eon Lake.
Yeah, we're not joined by Eon Lake this week.
StreamYard Lake.
StreamYard Lake, yeah. The original Eon Lake is otherwise indisposed this evening. We send him our love. Hopefully, he'll be back with us next week.
Yeah, for sure.
But very much so.
But what have you been up to?
Well, in the present moment, I was enjoying Trans-Pacific for the first time in a while. I haven't listened to our first collab. 3 years old now.
Yeah, I put it on that countdown you made earlier today because I was like, we need some music, and I feel like that song represents kind of our best, both of us, like our best foot forward. And and then you're like, oh yeah, it celebrated its 3-year anniversary. I was like, oh crap, that's good synchronicity. Yeah, it's been a minute. I was like, oh, I forgot I hard panned the guitar just left at the start.
I was like, yeah, the other one comes in. The mono mix, you know.
Well, it might have been an old master. To be fair, I searched Trans-Pacific and there was one master, and I was like, that can't be right. I usually go through about 10 or 12, but we went with it. So
we did go with
what it is. Over in the chat real quick, J Bell says that he thought StreamYard Lake was the new Curtis logo.
Yeah, I mean, that would be one way of going. It would be an upgrade. We'll have to see. And he's moved it. I see. I'm just as excited, and I'm just as surprised as probably the people listening when they see it change.
I just get a little too eager and want to shift things up once in a while.
That's fair. It's like you've got to keep that going. What's the phrase? It's like we're all got ADHD and we're
retention
all like
rates, right? As YouTube likes to hand out quite often. Yeah.
There is a correlation. I think that the YouTube videos, so the ones that are obviously the best YouTube videos, are the ones that change their frame every couple of seconds.
So should we just be like,
that's
like that?
I mean,
you know,
if we're not doing that, what is the point of us even doing this show? Why would we do our show based on music production when we could just be flicking screens around? You know,
it's like a keyframe in a live stream. I love it.
Exactly.
Anyways, what have you been up to? Let's get past the new setup.
Mate, it's been a good week. Marooned came out on Friday, which was a lot of fun. And so just been reveling in that, I suppose, as much as I will allow myself.
As you should. It's a great album, man.
Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, it was nice to have it drop. And I've been doing all that back office stuff, you know, emailing people, and I've been a lot of chatting to people. Like it's been wonderful to see kind of the reaction it's had. Like, it's lovely. It's always nice, you know. It's nice to know that people have been vibing with it and chatting with it and stuff like that. And so yeah, talking to people about what they like, the tunes that they like, the ones that kind of work, you know. It's really surprising. So yeah, that's been the majority of since we last met. I've been working on a few live versions, which is probably taking longer than it should, but I'm stealing your fun. I'm stealing your ideas and getting a little bit perfectionist. And it's
no timeline, man.
yeah, no timeline. Well, this is what we do. This is what we've done. I didn't really shout about it before, and we're now doing everything post release, which is just such a weight off my shoulders because, as you know, well as you can see, it's like, you know, you play the long game, or so to speak, and just let things come out as they are and let the music speak for itself.
Yeah, I mean, there's different schools of thought with it, but yeah, we've been testing out. I was doing it for Imagine Landscapes, which, to be fair, is like every month there's a little bit of promo, but then we really want to test it with like just dropping an album like with Marooned and seeing where the chips fall, or however you want to call it. But yeah, it's interesting to see, and it's gotten a lot of good reception, which is great to see. So yeah, it's really cool.
It is. What about you, my friend? What have you been doing?
What have I been doing? I put up a SP404 only live set right before the update came out, and many of those features would have been perfect for the live set, but I wouldn't have had time to get it done. So I did that. It was to promote Music for Imagine Landscapes releasing, and then the first song on the live set actually comes out not this Friday, but next Friday. So it was kind of like a midway promo point, and it's crazy. It's been doing really well on YouTube, which is awesome. And then I'm going to be putting out an explainer, because in the comments I was getting a lot of questions about like how I did the different, because I did about 5 different formats of performing on it. And so I'm going to be breaking down like a few different ways that I did it and how I did it, and just kind of like going over all of that. And then today we'll be talking about the 3.0 update, and there's some massive changes with that work best, I think, with if you're writing on the SP, but it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, but I'm stoked to get the next song out. It's been a while in the making, and I've been making some like art and stuff like that, so it's fun. I've been showing you all the art, getting your critiques, your eye on it. Yeah,
I love it, man. I'm really excited where this is going to go. I'm really excited to see, because you brought this to me back in, I think, back September, October time. So it's very nice to start seeing this roll out, and it's a lovely kind of it's a journey. I mean, that's what the other things always are. You always release on a monthly. Well, since I've known you, the monthly releases have been thick and full, and it's an interesting journey to watch how you kind of develop as you go, so to speak.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I like the slow burn, like you were saying, and I feel like doing it in a way where it's like on Bandcamp it's just one album, but on Spotify you can kind of hit the algorithm more, as they say. I like being able to find that. I mean, it's a bit weird in terms of like when it releases, how you describe it, and you can't really fully promote it to like blogs and stuff usually till much later. So it's like this weird in between, but it's just a fun way to do it. And I like that, seeing how it grows over time, and like with people in the comments and emails, like talking about things and stuff like that. So we're kind of testing out 2 different ways of doing it and seeing, like, I mean, it's all subjective what works best for the artist doing it, but just finding what we prefer. And then when it comes to our label mates, like how the best way to get them out there as well.
Very much so. And I feel like, you know, the more that we do this, the more that we learn. I feel like, okay, so especially over the last year since we've been doing these ADSNs, how much we kind of experimenting, because we've always experiment in this camp, but then we learn and then kind of like develop and that, and then I like it. It's very dynamic, and it's a great way to kind of go and, what's the phrase, fact find and then report back to the community. It's always good fun.
Yeah, speaking of, I'd love to hear from the chat. What way of releasing have you guys found you prefer? Like singles, albums, more frequent releases, less frequent releases? It's very interesting to see what you prefer and then what works best for every single artist. It's crazy how different it can be between artists, you know?
Yeah, completely. You got to find your rhythm. You got to find out what works for you. And
yeah,
we're curious to know what that is. A lot of our patrons are in the chat. Hydrofighter, Shady. It's lovely to have you here, even with the time change as well. Chaos.
Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it, but yeah, we figured, since we usually go with UTC and we have a lot of people in Europe, us Americans would suffer for it, but that's okay.
It comes back the other way. I think we change before you do in winter.
So yeah, that's right. I was thinking that earlier. I was like, I think the last time it was you guys that went early and like we had to adjust, but yeah, it's okay.
I think this was our 6th time zone change, and I think this time on this 6th occasion, I think we dealt with it best. We got there a few days ahead of time.
Yeah, I messaged you and was talking about something else, as we always WhatsApp, and I was like, oh yeah, the time change. And then as I was talking, it dawned on me. I was like, oh, we usually have different periods of time change. I better make sure we know that it's not the same.
Very much so. Yeah, we're getting there. It's almost like we're learning and growing as we do more of this as we go.
Yeah, little by little.
Little by little, exactly. So yeah, it's love to have everyone in the chat. It's always great when people tune in and see what you're up to. We love hearing what you've been up to, what you're dealing with. We got some great gear talk this week, as Sunwarper's already mentioned. Let us know what you think of it. Should we get into it?
Yeah, I should ask, has any gear caught your eye this week? Maybe what's not in the title, or what we're talking about, or if it is something we're talking about, let us know. It's interesting to see.
Very much so. Always fun to see. My current conundrum out right now is whether or not to get another launch control or get the APC Mini Mark II. I'm in an iron over that. I still can't decide.
What's the debate over? Like, what is the pro and con of the two?
Well, the launch control, you've got the ability to change send and return, and put them in, and then, but on the Akai, you've got the ability to trigger. So it's a bit like the Novation. So it's great for triggering, but yeah, so I can't decide. Basically, it's like the APC Mini Mark II is like a combination of the launch control and the launch pad, whereas the launch control is less of a blend, but it can do more on its own. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on what your need at the time is, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing. Like,
you never know your need.
You never know. Like you want.
Well, then I guess you get one and make it fit, and that's the one you needed the time that you needed it. Over in the chat, looks like J Bell's eyeing a Flea bass, Flea edition bass, secondhand. Is that 90,000? What is it?
90,000 Czech crowns. So that's roughly about $3,000, roughly.
Oh, okay. Is that a Fender bass? I think Flea plays Fenders.
Usually plays Fenders, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if that's like an American one that's imported or something.
I mean, perhaps, yeah. I mean, I'd like to see that.
Well, you'd like to play it, I bet.
I would. Well, I mean, $5,000 then. Maybe. Well, I mean, I'd be going over there a lot more. That's for sure.
Well, maybe don't get it, J Bell. I don't know. Depends on how often you want to see Curtis. You know.
We see too much of each other. Anyway, yeah, that's what it is. Its own right. Should we have a look? Do you want to start with start with the SP404?
Yeah, let's start with the SP.
Let's do that. So as our sampler SP404 in the room,
real quick, J Bell says he doesn't want to see you again. So
that's fair. Well, I not really know what to say to that other than all right, don't come over to my house tomorrow afternoon then.
No more jamming for you guys.
Exactly, not going to be that way. SP404, the Mark III. Not the Mark III, the Mark II, but the update 3.0. What's going on with that, Sunwarper?
Yeah, so I sent you a picture, but basically it's a massive update. The big numbered updates, so not the point whatever number, but like the 2.0, the 3.0, they've been rolling them out. That's 3 in a year since it came out, and they make some drastic improvements to the workflow, and they also have been adding stuff like the 2.0 update added some new effects and polyphonic chromatic performance, so you could play synths, like a single sample could play synths on it.
I mean, shall I bring up the...
bring it up and I'll run over what they've added, and then I'm going to talk about my 5 favorite additions as an avid SP user, shall we say?
I like that. Hang on. Hang on. We are on a different world.
Yeah, so there we go. I think you have to present, and then there it is. I add to stream. There we go. Look at that. I could even do this.
Look at that.
So chat, let us know which you prefer. Yeah. This one or this one.
Yeah. Or just there is an option to take us out completely.
That's true. I could just do this if you've really gotten sick of our faces, but still want to see StreamYard, like, you know, I can do that too.
I mean, I never not want to see that duck again. I always want to see that duck. I would be dreaming about that duck for the rest of the time.
Well, there we go. So here's some of the big updates. This is directly from Roland's video, and if anybody wants to check it out, we can put a link to the video. Curtis, it's in the docket if you want to share it. So sequencer updates, we've got better performance with multi-track audio when the sequencer or pattern is running. And that's huge because there were some issues, I guess, with some of them when you play multiple patterns while a pattern is playing. And then we've got sync with MIDI instruments. This is massive. It used to be that, let me just show the screen really quick. So it used to be that these are the banks. Let me see if I can, it's mirrored, but these are the banks. So every bank used to be on a separate MIDI channel. Now the first 5 banks are all in one MIDI channel 1, and then the other 5 are MIDI channel 2 or 6. I can't remember how, yeah, 5. So it's massive for live performance. And then we also have, let me get back to the screen. We also have pad mutes and automation, which is a big change. So you can automate the effects while the pattern's going and you can mute it. We've got convert pattern to sample. So you can quickly just, instead of resampling a whole pattern, you can just say, turn this into audio, and it will just bounce it into a pad as a sample. One-shot playback. So if you hit a pad, it starts playing. If you hit it again, it just keeps playing. It used to be if you hit it again, it would restart. So that's good for long backing tracks, like in my live performance. Startup, multi-effects, and parameters. You can change the default startups for every effect. It used to be it would always default to their setting. Now, if you like a certain setting, you can do it that way. Then there's DJ mode updates. I'm not the biggest DJ mode user, but they added cue points and save markers to any sample or pad if you switch back to it. MIDI clock and bend updates, so you can run synths synced with the SP during DJ mode, and then there's a BPM display. Then some of the big other features, as they call it, quantize after recording. So if you make a pattern and you finished a hi-hat and you didn't like it, you can just quantize it after the fact. Copy selection to project. Change all bank parameters, MIDI mode layout. So you can, like I was saying, you can change a couple different things. And then there's a new envelope for the fade out of samples when you play them. And also huge is the SP404 app now works in a DAW. It used to just be standalone. Now you can actually put it in there. So like in Ableton, if you've got samples or one shots showing up, you can just throw it right in. Same with Logic, but I know Curtis would appreciate Ableton since that's his main usage. So yeah, so those are all of them. A lot of them are bringing it more in line, I guess you could say, with the DAW. And a lot of these have been asked for a long time. My favorites are the bounce pattern to sample. You no longer have to resample and get silence at the start or end if you accidentally hit the resample quick. The motion recording is awesome. It's like a pocket operator where you can do effects while it's playing and then it stays in the pattern. And you can also mute it. And then that goes hand in hand with the pad mute. So while a pattern's playing, you can mute specific pads. Like, I don't want the drums to play, mute it. And you can also record that into the pattern. So every time that pattern plays, it does it. Also, the changing the effects, the default effects is huge. Because like every time I turn my SP on for the live set when I was practicing, I'd have to reset all of the effects parameters I was using to get to where I wanted them to be. Now I can just have it set and saved. And then finally, that big change to MIDI makes a huge difference, because I know in a previous live set of mine, people were complaining on the comments about how, like, if you're trying to sync the circuit with the SP and have the circuit send signal to the SP to like play this sample right now, you'd have to change the MIDI channel for every bank. Now you could just have it all on one channel. So it makes a big difference.
Sounds like it's going to streamline your workflow. Would that be
Yeah,
fair?
I think it streamlines workflow both in terms of composition, but also in terms of performance. Because some people use it as a composition machine, some use it as a live performance machine or a DJ mode. And now it kind of, this update didn't really add anything groundbreaking like new effects or sidechain, but it added a ton of quality of life updates.
Okay, so I mean, what do you think it will bring to your SP404 game? Like, what is it? What are you've mentioned a few that you're excited about more. What ones I suppose are the most in demand?
I think the bouncing pattern to a pad without having to resample makes the biggest difference for anybody that composes on here or creates music on here. The one-shot playback makes a big difference when you're playing live, because like if you accidentally hit that pad again, the song restarts.
Yeah.
Now it won't do that if you have it set to this one shot. And then the effects are like probably the biggest change for me.
So do you how does that come into your use in putting it into your DAW? What would you do with that now?
You mean with the app?
Yeah.
The app. So, well, the app is how you connect your SP to the computer, so you can send audio into it, move things and stuff like that, instead of having to import from an SD card. So it really just makes it a little easier. Like if you made something in a DAW and you want to just move it right over, you can just drag and drop it in the DAW rather than exporting the song or exporting the stems, moving it over, things like that. So it seems like this update is all about streamlining.
Well, there you go. I mean, I'm not part of this community. I know that you're really part of this community, and you do a lot of stuff on Reddit and stuff like that. So, I mean, as the mouthpiece for the entire SP404 community,
I don't want that. I don't want that moniker. Just me as an SP user.
That's okay.
But it seems like just looking at Twitter, a lot of people have been excited about it. It also changed it. Now it can use a terabyte SD card in terms of putting storage of samples, not necessarily for storing. Yeah, so you can't store, like you only have the amount of pads that it allots, right? So 10 banks or whatever and 16 pads, but you can have a ton of samples in the SD card that you can, like one shots that you can call or queue from. So now you can have a terabyte's worth.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, that's quite a lot in a little box.
Yeah, it does a lot. They've been just making it more and more functional. Especially compared to like an OG 404, there was a lot less you could do with that. And then the Mark II added a ton, and then each update has just added more and more. It's pretty crazy.
And is the update, because I know, for example, Survey Channel, who's watching, I know he's got a Mark One.
Yeah.
Is the update?
I don't know if we call it Mark One. I think that one's the OG, but I guess by default, by naming the second one Mark II, it is a Mark One.
Okay, so I'm Mr. Ignorant on this one. Okay, so the original 404, is the update for that as well, or is it just the Mark II?
No. So there's actually 3 404 iterations. There's the OG, which used compact flash, and Survey Channel can talk more on that one. It's got a really cool sound though. Then there's the 404 SX, and then that added I think it made it SD card, so it's a lot faster, and there might have been some effects changes. And then the 404 Mark II is a drastic overhaul with more pads, more effects, way deeper pattern thing. They added a TR rec mode that makes it like a sequencer, lots more MIDI functionality and stuff. Yeah, Survey in the chat says that he's got the OG. Yeah.
Interesting. I'll be curious.
Those have a really nice sound though. They kind of lost some as they went more hi-fi with the 404 iterations. Like this one is pure hi-fi. There's like a lo-fi setting, but they kind of lost some of that like grit that defined it. I mean, you can get it with some of the effects, but it's like, yeah.
Well, Survey Channel, again, I'm from the layman side of things. So Survey Channel, I see a lot of what Sunwarper does with his Mark II. If you ever wanted to show what you do with the OG, I'd be very curious if you could put it in the Discord channel.
Yeah, those things are sick. And he added a little bit. He said that he did just update his yesterday to the final OG update, which was 1.05. Loaded some backing tracks onto it, and oh boy, the sound. Yeah, those things sound great. I mean, I love the Mark II, and with some of the effects like the 303 compressor, you can get an awesome lo-fi sound. But those OGs have a certain sound to them that not even the SX is accurate to. But Survey Channel, what does the update for the OG add? I'm sure that's probably from a while ago, that update, but I wonder what they added in those updates.
Be good to see. So yeah, it's a very interesting one. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I really wanted to get a video for you guys, but between trying to set up all of this stuff and some other things happening, I couldn't get it. But if you do want to see some of these new updates in action, let me know either in the chat as this is going or in the comments after it airs if you're watching it after the fact. I'm just reading Survey Channel's comment. He says the updates from 2007, and I'll have to get back about the updates. Yeah, let us know. If you record something, share it over in the Discord. We'd love to see it. But yeah, if you guys want to see more about this and like the 5 things that I really dig about it or more, let me know and I'll have a video. I can make a video for next week.
Very much so. So yeah, thank you. This show is brought to us by our patrons. Thank you very much indeed. We really appreciate the support you give us. It allows us to try new things, such as trying out StreamYard.
Like this.
Oh, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? So yeah, if you are vibing what we're doing and you want to support, consider becoming a patron. Pledges start at $2 a month. We have our own community. We have a Twitter DM group. We also have extras on our Discord channel. You get early access to our stuff, including our pre-recorded content and stuff like that. And we invite you onto the show, which is always fun. Hydrofire is a staple of that, as well as Lars Haur. He's been up here as well a few times. It's a great community, and we thank you bottomlessly for the support that you give us. So thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, it helps us out a ton. It helps us do more of this stuff. So if you enjoy it, the link should be in the description. I had to change the description when I was copy and pasting this. So if it's not, let us know if you want to check it out, and we'll put it in the chat. And then, of course, after this airs, it will be in there. I'll double check and get it. But yeah, there's exclusive Twitter and Discord channel and group for all the patrons. We also do a monthly, it's soon to be twice monthly, hangout with the patrons where we just talk about anything and everything. It's kind of like this podcast, but we don't film it. It's just us hanging out, talking whatever the patrons bring to the table and want to talk about. It's a lot of fun. It's great to talk about these kind of things, like getting all excited about, having 2 LFOs and doing things with that without having the person we're talking to's eyes glaze over. It's a nice way to do that and bother our significant others a lot less.
Yeah, very much so. It's lovely to speak with like-minded people about things that we nerd out about. I was doing the thumbnails and the clips for the shorts about the Behringer video we did last week, and I was doing it at work. And I think
it's a good place to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the best way to do it. And I think the thumbnail was something along the lines like chatting about the Behringer corner or something like that. Something that we would know about, like Behringer corner. Like there's no need for explanation. But to anyone else outside the community, it's like, what's that? And then I'll tell them what it is, and then their eyes glaze over, and it's like, oh, you nerd. It's like, oh, people understand us, man. There's the Behringer Toro came out 2 weeks ago. We want to talk about it because it's awesome.
Yeah, I wouldn't take you for wanting to talk about it though, because you didn't seem too jazzed up about the Toro.
Oh, you know me,
Mr. Anti monosynths with a monologue behind him.
I'm not anti-mono. I'm not anti-mono synth. I have one behind me and I love it. I don't need another one. But yeah, I love it. I always love talking shop. I talk my ears off about shop. So let's talk about more shop.
Let's talk shop. Yeah,
let's talk shop. We again, this came to us from FCC, who's our label mate, and he's in one of the Audionauts in our Discord. Cherry Audio have released the new Mercury-6. It is the Mercury-6. And
no, Mercury-4, I believe.
I have got the video up here and it says Mercury-6 on it.
Because their website says 4.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Detailed emulation of the Roland Jupiter 4. So
interesting. Okay, so the video that I've got and I've been playing with is the Mercury-6.
Well, let's talk Mercury-6.
Let's talk Mercury. So basically, yeah, this is a new synthesizer out by Cherry Audio. It's meant to, as Sunwarper said, to emulate that of the Juno 4.
No, Jupiter 6.
Jupiter 6.
If we're talking Juno 6 or Mercury 6, it's the Jupiter 6. Boy, these numbers are getting to us. So Mercury
SP404 MKII.
Yeah, 3.0 update. So Mercury-6 is, these are their words, a meticulous recreation of the Jupiter 6 analog synthesizer, just in time for its 40th anniversary. Sandwiched between the earlier Jupiter 4 and Jupiter 8 models in name only, the sophisticated Jupiter 6 has sometimes been considered a sleeper release. These days, it has persevered to become one of Roland's most notable and coveted classic synthesizers due to its distinctive, dark, and complex character. Mercury-6 from Cherry Audio, these are their words, captures all that is exceptional in this treasured polyphonic classic, boosts its extraordinary feature set for today's DAW, production, and workflow, and celebrates the groundbreaking innovation from that era that changed music forever. And this Mercury-6 is $50, down from an MSRP of $70.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we brought it up. It's relatively entry level, and which is really, really interesting in its own right. But also, you do get a trial. You get a 30-day trial, which we tested out. I played
real quick. So I just want to say I'm sorry because I got bump scooped. So the Mercury 4 must be an old release because Survey Channel says the Mercury 6 is the new one. Yes, they did do a Mercury 4 because I found the link. It's $40 on their website for the Mercury 4, and it says it comes with a Roland Echo emulation too. Looks pretty cool. So check it out. But we're talking Mercury 6. I'm sorry to have completely botched that up. That's my bad. There was no detail in the thing, and we like to read off stuff, so I went to grab it and just saw Mercury 4 and was like, okay, cool.
Well, it's cool. I mean, that's why we love this. Well, it's part of the reason why we love people giving us their feedback, because then they can correct us when we go wrong. It's lovely. Thanks, Survey Channel. But yeah, let's have a look at, because I went through some. I just clicked through some of the presets and play through, so give you an idea of what you could do and what you can get with your money.
Yeah, so you said they offer a trial, right?
There's a trial there. I think it's either for 14 days or 30 days.
Okay.
And then it's $49 if you want to buy it, which it's one of those things where I looked at it, I've played with it, and I've gone, well, maybe next paycheck, because it's not bad. But anyway, without much further ado, let me bring it up.
Bad. I wonder how long it stays at 50. If it's new, it sounds like it's going to revert to 70 at some point.
Perhaps. Well, let's have a listen to this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, run that ARP.
Yeah, it's not bad. Why don't I just push one finger down? You just go from make a tune. There are lots of presets.
It looks like it.
And obviously, this is a video showing them all.
Oh boy. J-Bell says, beautiful one note, Curtis. Yeah, he sure knows his one notes.
My best thing is what I'm known for. It's one note forever. I should just say that sense of white noise coming from the back is not the preset. That's coming from the fact that I didn't do the trial or anything. It's just a demo, and it gives intermittent pink noise. But I hope you can see from that there's a good amount of presets in there. There's a good decent bang for your buck.
Yeah, for $50, it's not bad. Should I read off? I have the right one. Should I read off some of the actual specs?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so we've got highly optimized massive dual layer voicing architecture with 16 polyphonic voices per layer. Keyboard split or stacked modes allow 2 playable layers with separate per layer controls for all parameters. My Prophet does that, and I love that for like live performance. It's awesome. 2 VCOs per voice with combined waveform capabilities, triangle, ramp, sawtooth, noise, and square or variable pulse. Let's see, multi-mode filter with 24 dB low pass, 24 dB high pass, or 12 dB band pass modes. Accurate reproductions of the original's advanced VCO 2 to VCO 1 FM cross modulation for, as they call it, searing tones. Let's see what else we got. Precisely implemented portamento and glissando modes. Exactingly replicated arpeggio section with MIDI temp sync, hidden down up mode of the original, and the addition of a random mode. 2 tempo syncable LFOs with extended retrigger functionality, single key chord memory mode, over 500 presets, that's a ton, created by a talented team of sound design veterans, easily accessible in a convenient preset browser. And Curtis showed us that. It did look pretty easy to navigate. Let's see. Studio quality integrated effects, distortion, phaser, flanger chorus, 3 types of delay with sync, and 4 types of reverb with easy access, global or layer settings.
Well, there you go. And I think it's a veritable inspiration box. I think we've used that phrase quite a lot when these things come through. But the presets themselves, I haven't tried the ones from Arturia, which I know that Hydrofight is a big fan of. The presets are really interesting. They probably need a bit behind the effects chain, like J-Bill says. You can probably find similar sounds on a free VST. There are, you can get the Tyrell from Yuhi, which is free. I feel like the presets are really good for you to kind of get a basic and then run through it and then send it to some send and returns, and you can tweak it a little bit because it's not official. So yeah, but I mean, there's a lot there. You get a lot for your money, and there's a lot to play with, I think. So if you're looking for something that you throw into the DAW and then you can kind of have some fun with and learn from, it's a great VST, I think.
Yeah, and I think it also depends if we kind of always talk about this with VSTs and things like that. If that's the sound you're really going for, a meticulously crafted synth, software replica of that synth makes a lot of sense. Like, yeah, I want the Jupiter 6 sound. Okay, something that's meticulously crafted about that makes sense. If you just like the sound of it and want to throw it in once in a while, yeah, maybe you do something with a free synth like Europa and Reason can do a lot of these kind of cool sounds and stuff like that. So I think it also kind of depends on that context as well.
From what I could tell as well, the CPU usage is quite low, which is
that's nice. Important. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about, I always come back to the Diva, which is a right.
I was going to say, otherwise we'd all be using 18 million instances of Diva in every song, right?
Oh yeah, but I mean, yeah, but that creates the Hadron Collider effect, which will end the universe.
Yeah. You create a new Big Bang with too many instances of that.
Exactly. There's a reason for it, So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I had a little play around with it. I think I would if, like you say, if you want a synthy retro sound straight off the bat without doing too much effort, if you're doing a commission work or something like that, then go for it. It's just a bit of fun. $50. It's there. Hi FCC, welcome. Lovely to see you. FCC, one of our label mates. And how you doing, man? What's going on in your world?
Yeah, I think to the synth, it makes sense if that's what you're going for. I also think, it's a free trial, so if you like the sound of it, you can check out the trial, and if it makes sense to buy it, then you buy it. If not, then you tried it and it just wasn't for you. Or
you take the Sunwarper approach. You get the free trial, you sample everything, every preset, and then you put it through the SP404.
That's not my. Let's not coin that the Sunwarper approach. But yes, you could totally just download some sample one shots and throw it in a sampler. If that's the sound you like of anything. Any sound. But these small independent and smaller plugin companies or plugin companies in general, if you enjoy the synths, you should definitely buy them and support them. So I don't condone that. I'm just saying.
I get that.
Oh, FCC says he's liking the new format. We appreciate it. Yeah, we're checking it out. We've got StreamYard Lake up to my, I guess it's left. Yeah, well, that's what it's going to be called.
I forgot that's what we called it, and now I'm having that all over again.
It's only been 20 minutes or 40 minutes.
I get that. J-Bell says could he buy a sticker of Marooned? And that's something he'd pay for. You can if you want. I'll see what I've got. I do have some stickers actually. That's cool coming. And yeah, for Frequency Control Center, there's no Eon Lake this week. He's feeling a bit under the weather. He'll be back next week.
He is missed, but
him.
StreamYard Lake up there is his stand-in, as this is what we're trying out, and yeah.
Yeah, it's about to in a minute. The StreamYard duck is about to go on a rant about Spotify, so
That's true,
we'll be
yeah.
all there for that. We'll be all there for that. But yeah,
the duck from the lake, the StreamYard Lake, exactly. That's what we've been calling him, StreamYard Lake, because he's the Eon Lake of ducks. He's from the lake.
Bobbing around. There we go. So yeah, that is all we got for the news this week. That's all the gear we've got, unless I'm much mistaken. But if there's anything we missed, please let us know, either in the comments or in our Discord below. We always love hearing that.
FCC says he can see the duck's eyes rolling. Well, that's one thing. I really wanted Eon Lake here because I really wanted to be able to do this and show him do that eye roll just front and center. But alas, he couldn't make it today. But, StreamYard Lake's a good stand-in, so we appreciate it.
It is, yeah. And the reason you see the duck is because it's a free version. We're trialing it out for now. And it's something that, should we get into a wider position in our Patreon, it's something we might consider using. If you guys like it, you guys are the patrons after all. If you like the format, you like the way it's going, and you want to see us use it more, you'd have to say goodbye to the duck, I suppose.
You don't have to. There is also this overlay, but I don't know if it has any more duckness. Oh, it does.
There you go. More duckness.
So now StreamYard Duck is actually telling everyone we're live, but
Well, there you go. It's just honking from on high. That's what it needs to
and
do.
Yes, J-Bell, if we get the paid one, we can do the star background on it. As of now, the only two we have is the Bubbles Dark, which is what we're using, or where is it? Or just plain black. But it is, both are definitely better than the dull gray of the Google Meet we normally do. So
I think we've got a better quality of video. I for sure definitely can see there's better contrast and there's better hue coming from our camera.
I wonder how the latency is too.
Well, this is what I think. I think the latency is a lot better. I think from what I can see, I've got us on one screen here, and then I've got the feed itself for the YouTube on the other at the moment. And there's a list. I'm now moving my arms, and I'm going to be moving my arms.
Oh wow, that's pretty quick.
Yeah. So there we go. I'm already moving.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Sorry for us nerding out about the technical back end of how Deep Space Network works, but we appreciate you guys hanging out. And if you do enjoy this new format and want to see us evolve it even further, consider joining the Patreon, as it will help us be able to afford the more pro features.
Very much so. And there'll be more to nerd out on. More stream of consciousness broadcasting. Goal. Yeah. What's going on in the marketing minute?
So I think they talked about this last week. It was actually live right before we went live with ADSN last week. And I promised I would talk about it, probably much to most of the chat's chagrin, since I know we're not the biggest, or most of the chat is not the biggest fan of Spotify, but they did the Stream On event where they talked about a lot of big changes coming to both the Spotify UI as a consumer, and also some really cool features and some kind of sketchy features for Spotify for artists.
Okay.
So do you want to share the link I sent you?
I'll bring it up so we can see it here in all its beautiful glory.
Oh, sorry, I have to add it to the stream.
There you go.
I apologize. Okay, so basically, let me actually move us to the left.
Yeah, let's go on the leftist side.
Yeah, we'll shake things up. The four big changes are they've now added, which Curtis had kind of talked about, that it seemed like they were from a beta he got somehow thrown into on by accident, but they're adding clips. So 30-second vertical clips. Then there's Start the Countdown, which is the in Spotify pre-save system. Amplify your music. There's some new things you can do for your music. That's where we get to the sketchier side of things. And finally, the Make Money on Spotify with more, I think it's Shopify integration. So let's scroll down and take a look. Spotify for Artists got a bit of an update with some new features you can do that tie into some of those top ones we were just talking about. Continue, Curtis. Sorry.
So we'll go down to, we'll start with the...
Yeah, this is the big one. So I'm just going to zoom in on it real quick. So short video for the long term, as they call it. So they're adding under 30-second vertical videos that you can talk about things. As you can see from the picture, it's probably a lot of these artists are talking about like a new release that's come out or is coming out, and you can promote it. It seems like it's still early days. So what works in terms of, as we talked about before, retention rate and things like that will be trialed out and tested. It's in beta, which means most likely that massive artists can do it now and the rest of us can't. But, you know, that's the way it typically goes, I guess, with Spotify. Continue, Curtis.
There we go. Here we go.
Let me just check the chat. Yeah. And this is kind of cool, though I'm still not the biggest fan of pre-saves in general. I do appreciate the idea that pre-saves are now going to be internal to Spotify, which, as we've talked about before, all of those pre-saves from DistroKid and all these others, there's no interaction with Spotify. A third party gets your email and all that stuff and gets access to your Spotify and can like it when it releases. But you're giving all this access and things like that to a third party. J Bell is not a fan of Ed Sheeran. Well, you don't have to pre-save his album, but he's just there to tell us about his album, I guess. FCC says massive artists can earn money, the rest of us can't. I mean, yeah, that's the Spotify conundrum, I suppose. But there are some cool things that they're adding. I mean, I think the clips can help humanize artists and art in terms of like Spotify, which is very just like playlist centric and just you're just clicking music. But now with these videos, theoretically, it could help kind of bring a face to your music should you want that. I could even imagine doing just like really cool promos. Like if you make an interesting music video, you could just take a segment of it for like 5 seconds and pop it up with text or something. Let's see. But yeah, so the pre-saves, you can actually do a countdown on your page where it shows like the number and then pre-save. And this pre-save is direct through Spotify. So you don't have to give, at least it seems, a third party your access to Spotify, which has always thrown me off in terms of doing pre-saves.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a very nice thing in its own right, really. The bringing it on board and making more out the release radar. It's cool.
Yeah. Shall we continue?
Yeah. So we've got the most powerful tools to help you grow your fan base.
Yeah, so this, let me get the bigger screen. This is kind of where some of the slight sketchiness. So MKII has been around for a while. It's an advertising feature, let's say, where you can pay to get some of you may have noticed if you use Spotify when a big pop-up comes up that takes up the full screen when you open Spotify and it says, you know, like, check out this new music. That's MKII where it promotes it. And I guess there has been good reaction to it in terms of like getting people to click it and listen. So that's something. I don't think it's still rolled out for most people, or it's like, I think you have to have 15,000 or 5,000 listeners, something like that. Then there's this showcase, which they said is a new campaign tool that you promote new and catalog being old music. I think they say it's after 18 months they consider something catalog on the home page of Spotify Premium and free listeners. And then here's where there was some recent controversy, this discovery mode. So you give Spotify more of your royalty. I think they take an additional 30%, and they throw you on this. I believe it's the vertical where it's similar to TikTok, where you can scroll. Actually, you can't see my hand. Where you can scroll vertically and see these like canvases, and that's discovery mode, and that's an additional 30% of your royalty per stream. So that's something.
I mean, it's squeezing the lemon, I suppose.
It's like instead of giving artists better royalty payouts, they can take more from the artist rather than the consumer, because they don't want to raise consumer rates, which I can understand, but it's like you're choosing the wrong person to pull money from.
Yeah, well, it's the exploitation of the proletariat.
I suppose so.
It's interesting. This is the thing that I had in beta. And it's actually currently I get it on like my release radar and my Discover Weekly, and I mean, does it do anything for discoverability? Does it do anything? I
don't know.
I don't think so.
It's still early days with it too, and I think a lot of artists don't even have it accessible yet.
No.
So
yeah. So I mean, it's interesting in that own right.
Yeah.
Before we do kind of like an analysis, what's the last one?
Oh, yeah. So this is actually kind of good. A bit of chat, though, first. J-Bell says, what's 30% of 0.000000010 cents? Yeah, I suppose the devil's advocate, should we say, is that you potentially get exposed to a larger number of people who will then click it and stream it. And that means more than 1.0000, like a single point, or 100.00. It's like 1,000 or something like that. I'm not saying I agree with it. It's just that I can see kind of like the consideration of it. I still don't think the 30% thing, taking more from artists, is a great idea. But anyways, FCC says it's probably money well spent to gain more followers if you're not making much anyway. Well, that's exactly what I was getting at as well. Sorry, FCC, I waited to read it, but yeah, I agree with you completely. So the last thing, and they've been adding more and more of this Shopify connection. You can, it's just further merch and show promotion. You can have merch for an album, like the vinyls, the CDs, and then you can promote shows that you're doing. I need to check if you can show like live streams. Like if you're doing a live stream on Bandcamp, I don't know if you can put that as a show. Probably not, but maybe it's worth checking into. So I'll look, because I know some of us have been doing those Bandcamp live streams, and it would be good to know, because that's just a potential way to get people off of Spotify and onto Bandcamp, right? So
yeah, completely. Well, I mean, that's the way that kind of live shows are going, smaller, intimate crowds, and then more people online. But whether or not they want to go to that, I don't know. But they are going for the whole. They are really going social. They're going very, very social with the whole situation.
And I don't know if that's on this page that I linked that Curtis has been showing, but there's some big changes going on to the Spotify homepage. Is that the end of the page of that? That's the loud and clear where they show stuff. Yeah, I think that's it. But at the top, I think they mentioned that home is getting a big visual update. Certain playlists are now, you can, like, if you go to Spotify specific playlists, you may see sometimes it's like, do you want to watch this playlist? And it's a little option at the top, and it's basically that discovery mode where it's the canvases and you can just scroll through. It's kind of cool if you're into that, but most of those playlists are not of my musical style, like what I enjoy. But I think even Release Radar may have it. So if you check out Release Radar for artists you follow, you'll see that option. There's also, instead of pushing podcasts so hard now, there's 3 options at the top: music, podcasts, and audiobooks. And when you select one of those, it's a much more visual format. Instead of just like little squares, there's like bigger pictures and things like that. So it's a big update coming to the UI of Spotify for consumers. And then there's a lot of options they're adding for artists. Why we talk about it is because it is still probably the biggest platform people listen on. So it's not a bad idea to, even if you're not on it or you don't want to be on it, at least know kind of what they're doing, because most likely other companies will follow suit if it works, or change course if it doesn't work. It's just interesting to keep an eye on. And I mean, even in the worst case, know thy enemy, right? You know, so
yeah. Well, I think it's a great way of putting it. Know thy enemy. But I do believe there's potential there. I think what we lack, especially in the electronic world, is it's getting better. But I think traditionally what we've always lacked is that visual aspect of it.
Yeah.
In terms of like people watch music these days as well as listen to it. And there's always been a disconnect in the underground between the music and the fan, be that because, putting cameras to faces and such, or ways to go around it with no budget, that kind of thing. But this is a way to directly bring the artist to the listener in a lovely way. So what YouTube have been doing really well over the last couple of years in terms of like the shorts and the posting of the pictures and the selfies and the stuff. And that's nice. It's humanizing something which was traditionally just, here's my new track, so like it or lump it, it's coming, and there is opportunity there. And it's
totally. I think that's the best way to look at it is, if you have music on Spotify, it's good to know these things, because there's some really cool options to bridge the gap, as I was saying earlier, of having this very dissociated connection to artists, where you're just listening on playlists, or you're just going to their profile and hitting a song because there's no connection to the artist. But now you can have the I forgot what they call it, but the clips. You can have the clips where you're talking, and Amazon even has this already for the 2 people that listen on Amazon Music in the world. But you can do an intro. It's not video, I believe it's audio, but you can say like, hey, thanks for listening to my new song. This was inspired by blah, blah, blah. Here you go. And now you can have this video aspect, and it's kind of bridging that gap of social media. You're putting a face to your music should you want to. And like Frequency Control Center says, better the devil you know. Exactly.
Completely, absolutely. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what Apple Music do as well. if they're going to do anything to respond, because I know that they're bigger than Spotify in the US. Is that still the case?
They were, yeah. I think Spotify has like the world.
It has the world
market
dominance,
cornered, and then Apple Music apparently is bigger in the US. Apple does have, and we talked about it a while ago. We can go over it again for anybody if they want us to, but they have, you can answer questions. It's like 3 questions, like name your top 3 albums, your favorite song of your own and why, and like one other, and you can put that so that they also have a slight humanizing aspect. And I had just happened to go on Apple Music one day checking like if my new stuff was on there or something, and I saw that the questions I put were there on my profile. And it's just an interesting kind of concept to bring something of yourself to your art, should you choose to. So it's interesting to see all of these companies are kind of doing something just slightly different. And we'll see if any of these Spotify bits are very successful or popular. I'm sure we'll see it roll out on multiple other streaming services.
Yeah, very much so. So yeah, that's the marketing minute. Thank you ever so much for listening through. These are always little fact-finding missions for us, namely for Sunwarper, because he does most of the marketing stuff. So if there's anything that we're missing, or is there anything that we've not touched upon, is there anything you want to know in terms of music marketing and promoting yourself as an artist, let us know. Discord and the comments is where to be. It's always good to give us a task, a quest, if you might say, to wander through the wasteland and find out what's going down.
Yeah, exactly.
Very much so. So yeah, that's the marketing minute. Final bit for today is be the round robin, which is an interesting one. This is more
actually, before we switch over though, we should ask StreamYard Lake if he has any comment or rants about Spotify.
I can't believe
StreamYard Lake.
He's done. Vitriol.
He's so mad about it, he won't even speak.
It's mental. Wow, speechless for the first time.
Yeah, that's a rarity.
StreamYard Lake, thank you very much for your contribution to that. So yes,
he's already on Lake Proxy.
But yeah, so round robin this week. Bit of a personal one, as you know. I just released Marooned, and so I have been judging myself and going through this whole imposter syndrome cycle, like we all have been doing, on and off over since the time of dawn, I suppose, the dawn of time. Where man first put stick to stick and made a clicking sound, and then wondered if it was a good clicking sound. We all go through these peaks and troughs. We all go through these peaks and troughs of imposter syndrome, not feeling that we're any good or that the material we make is any good. And this is a cycle. And I think always, in a similar way to therapy, the idea of talking about these things is always a good way to normalize it and process it as a community. So I wanted to bring it to the table. I wanted to find out, guys, imposter syndrome, how do you deal with it? How does it manifest? How are you viewing your work? How does it affect the way you make your music? And is there any particular way in which that you are getting over your imposter syndrome? What are ways in which you can do that? I have my ways, but as StreamYard Lake is a little bit quiet on that front, I'm going to start with Sunwarper this week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was your question. I think you had said in the docket that it was like getting rid of imposter syndrome, right?
How do you get over it?
How do you get over your imposter syndrome?
How do you diminish it? How do you bring it through?
Yeah. So I have to kind of formulate my thoughts. So sorry if this is kind of sporadic and chaotic, but I guess that's the point of today's episode, I suppose. But I don't think you get over imposter syndrome. You have to just learn to accept, embrace, and deal with it. You know what I mean? So it's like it's always going to be there, and at certain points, in your lowest points, it will be more apparent and stronger. And at those points, I think you just have to kind of treat it as like a friend almost, and be like, hey, I understand where you're coming from, but I have to do it. And I think aside from that, working on your imposter syndrome, because you can't just like say, yep, it's a friend, it's always there, yeah, that's great. You still can take steps to improve it and make it better and have a better handle over it. And I think the biggest thing for me is just always doing, just get something out. When you have the imposter syndrome, if you really need help getting over it, like getting through it, ask a unbiased set of ears. Like I'll send a song to Curtis and be like, what do you think about this? Or Eon, like usually is also one of my main, much to his chagrin, he probably gets really annoyed. I'm like, hey, how's this version of the master? Okay, how's this one? Okay, here's the 15th version. How's that sounding? You know, so it's just learning to kind of like accept it, say, yep, I understand, I've got it, and then just do it anyways. And the more you do it and the more you show that part that it's safe to do these things, and look at how it turned out, it was great. Or even if there was nothing bad happened, right? Because that's usually the fear of it. You just do it and you slowly start to see that it's okay to do these things, and you'll feel better about doing it. I remember the first time I uploaded a song to Bandcamp in like 2012, I sat there with it for like 3 days with that screen on, or, you know, like hours, just like, do I hit it? Oh, what if like this bass is too loud? Or what if this is that one hi-hat's too different? Or will people just hate the sound of it? You know, or this and that. And then now I'm just like, publish, you know, like you just work on it.
Completely. Chat is alive.
Yeah, I was not on the chat because I didn't want to get distracted while I was talking.
It's a daily occurrence for Frequency Control Center. It's always there. J-Bell also does feel like he's in a poster at times. Survey channel, perpetual state of imposterism. It gets in the way. But then J-Bell comes back with, I think imposter syndrome can be dealt with. I like the saying, the artist doesn't need to believe in the work, just do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to FCC where he says, don't compare yourself to others. Exactly. I mean, comparison is the death of joy. Like,
yes,
that's how you sap any joy from something you're doing, is by being like, well, so-and-so got 20 more streams or this and that. Like, yeah, I mean, we're all on our own journeys and we have no idea what anyone is going through outside of the music, even with the music or this and that. Like, just enjoy the ride you're on and have fun with it. And when you start comparing, rather than comparing, maybe collab or work together, or like with Curtis and I, we'll just, even if we're not collabing, be like, does this sound cool? Or like, what do you think about this? Like, I sent him a poster today and he's like, I don't like the font. And I was like, I'm going for cheesy 80s retro. Oh, then it's perfect. I'm like, yeah, you know, like I knew why he didn't like it, because it wasn't his style, but I explained where I'm at. And I'm like, from this, what I'm going for, do you like it? And he's like, oh yeah, well, it makes sense in that context, you know, because it's like, we can also step out of our own personal subjective beliefs and like preferences to understand what someone else's is. So yeah,
I think to stem on from that as well, I think just to branch off from what you said about having the people you trust around you, like the immediate set of ears that you have around you that you trust and that you know that you can rely on unconditionally. Right. I know that, for example, if I send you a track, I know that you're going to listen to it. And I know you're going to give me your honest opinion, whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing. And that's just what you need. You know, I think imposter syndrome, I noticed it as well. I think a lot of weight came off my shoulders when I released Marooned. I was really feeling it just before release. And then it went out into the big wide world. And I was like, cool. All right. That's done, you know. So I think like you say, like, releasing, even if you don't believe wholeheartedly in the work that you're doing, just getting it out there and knowing that it is a moment in time is a great way of kind of dealing with that in that regard.
Yeah. And one of my biggest ways of getting over kind of like, it's both perfectionism, but also imposter syndrome, is like, I always say it, but making a song rather than being like, well, it's I don't believe in it, or it's not perfect. It's just, is it impeccable, right? Like, am I happy with everything to a degree enough to be like, this is listenable? When I listen to it, I get excited and I'm like, oh yeah, that part's awesome. Like with my song on Friday, I remember that comes out next Friday, I was like really struggling with the drums. And then I listened to one mix and I was just like, got goosebumps, not about the drums, right? But I was in the vibe of the song and I was like, okay, it's to the point where I know that I can like be excited about it and happy with it, whether the drums are too hot or quiet or this or that. It's like, it's enough where it's like, it's good enough, you know, like it's impeccable. It doesn't have to be perfect.
That's fair. Frequency Control Center, imposter syndrome is different to confidence, though. Feeling like you shouldn't be where you are is different to feeling like you can't do it. That's a very fair point.
I'm not sure I completely agree with it. I think they're hand in hand.
Well, yeah, they're hand in hand. I suppose in that sense, it's the idea, the feeling like you shouldn't be where you are. In a sense, that is, again,
You're not confident in yourself. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, not confident.
It boils down to, even if you don't want to look at it as feeling confident in the sound or something, it's you're not feeling confident where you're at and that you don't deserve it, right? That still comes down to confidence, I think. And I understand what he's saying, but I feel like it does at least go hand in hand typically. I mean, I think you can feel like an imposter while you still feel confident in the sounds you create or something, sure, but there's still some sort of like ego confidence type thing, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I know ego gets you all triggered, Curtis, but
I think with that as well, I think it shows you what it tells you fundamentally you're not happy where you want to be, which instead of seeing it as a negative thing, I think is a very positive thing, because there's that drive, there's that primal urge within you to grow, get better, harness a different sound or a sound that is somewhat above your station, so to speak. And I mean that in the loosest form, above your station, as if anything's above your station. But the idea that you still want to achieve heights. I think the day that I feel that the day that we're happy completely with the art that we've made, that would be a sad day, because then you would stop trying. And I think there's that little dude on your shoulder, like it's just going, "Oi, you got to keep going, because if you don't keep going, then I'm going to get you." And I think that's, for me at least, that's really important. Because if you don't feel like you deserve to be where you are in that regard, then it's important to keep pushing and not be satisfied with where you're at.
Even if you're happy with where you're at, you should always strive to learn and grow. I mean, that's just, being an artist, being a human is always getting. J Bell says, "Little duck on your shoulder." We should all have a little Eon Lake on our shoulder, being like, "Oh, look at the whiteboard."
We'll look forward to that. So so that is kind of dealing with it in its own right. We'd like to know the practical terms of what you guys do to deal with it in your day-to-day life. It's all there. It's through cycles of good and bad. How are you getting over it? What tangible advice can you give to the community in that regard? For me, again, it's that sense of consistent releasing, just keep going, keep trucking, and harnessing that energy and putting it into, I don't know, understanding that I've always got more to learn, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Curious. Let us know.
Yeah. Just embracing where you're at too, and just, learning to just push beyond. But I really do think that just doing these things helps to get through imposter syndrome. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, very good. As well as that, J Bell says sometimes it's good to take a break. And again, that is massive. Like just stepping away, learning to step away and saying, today I'm going to go watch Netflix, or I'm going to play a video game. I'm not very good at that. I'm terrible at that. And it's something that I'm trying to get better at, the idea of just sitting down with a video game, and sit down with a cup of tea and just not focusing on the music for once in my life. It does help. It really does help.
Yeah, I mean, it also just gives you different perspectives, and even subconsciously, like, I don't mean to sound like I'm always thinking in this way, but like you're hearing new sounds, you're hearing music, you're hearing things, and you're on break mode, or should be. So it's not registering. You're not like, oh, that's an interesting interval and that's an interesting chord progression. You're just hearing cool things that later may be lodged in that subconscious that you can kind of interpolate and just get a new influence from, or something like that. And Survey Channel agrees with J Bell and you and me. I agree too. Breaks do help, definitely. Like, it is good to step away for a minute, or like if you're really feeling off, just take a break,
Very much so. Frequency Control Center, just enjoy it all. 2 years ago, I never dreamed I'd be releasing my second album next month. It's all great and challenging and food for more creativity. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Just enjoy it. We take things very seriously, and life is serious, and music is serious, and the music career is the serious nature. It's meant to be fun. It's art. It's expression.
Yeah. That's what it boils down to. It's art. Just enjoy the art. If you're not enjoying it, that probably will also feed into imposter syndrome, because you're not feeling that enthusiasm, right?
Yeah. And you got to find a way to make it enjoyable. Like that channeling of that energy, that joy, and that freedom. That's the only way that you can express yourself in the most authentic way, and that's the only way you'll be happy.
Yeah,
very much so. if there's anyone watching back, if we've missed anything, let us know. We can always continue this discussion in the Discord, or let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts and methods.
Yeah, definitely. And if you want to head to the Discord, I'm going to check. The link should be in the description, and I believe it is. Yeah, the link is in the description. I had to copy and paste when I was uploading this new thing, this new streaming setup, so I wasn't sure. But yeah, it is there. If you're not on the Discord already, it's free for all. We'd love to have you. We talk about all these kinds of things, and we even do quick hangouts after Curtis and I do our weekly meet on Mondays. We typically hop over in the voice and video chat for a little bit just to hang out with everybody if you want to join us. And if you're looking for some new music, head to, in the description, I know because I just checked, our Spotify playlist, the Audionautic radio playlist. It's the latest in independent, chill electronic music. And if you've got something new coming out or something out that you'd like to, that you think fits, just message me, Sunwarper, or Audionautic, and we'll check it out and try to get it in there.
Very much so. As we come to the end of this episode of chaos and time differences and ducks
and zooms,
we'd love to know, do you like the new format? Do you think it's a nice format? I know that we're missing Eon Lake, and I know that is very much a chink in our collective armor, but this idea of us zooming around, doing different things, Sunwarper having his kind of like fingers on the dial and moving us around.
All the power.
All the power.
We're still getting the hang of everything too. So as we get used to this more, it will be smoother.
Yeah. Thank you for your patience. We really appreciate it. And we really appreciate you for tuning in and hanging out with us every week. It's highlight of the week. It's beautiful.
And J-Bell says it is nice to have some movement. Sorry, I'm on music from Impostor Syndrome. Movement. I agree. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was hoping. It's nice to just have changes and things, because I mean, when I watch these back to edit them, it's always just like a stagnant picture, you know, of just three small faces and like a gray. I'm seeing FCC says you can finally see my Halo helmet. Yeah, let me zoom in there. That's from the Halo 3, like what? Ultimate Ultra Limited Edition or whatever. Yeah, Master Chief's always back there with me.
There you go. He's always watching over your shoulder just in case the duck gets
He's got my 6
too rowdy. Yeah, exactly.
He's got my 6 if StreamYard Lake on my shoulder gets a little mad, right?
It seems like it's going well. We'll keep going with this vibe for now. So we'll be back next week with more noise and more shenanigans, more gear, more stuff. Again, if you've got anything that we've missed, do you think there's anything that's noteworthy, let us know in the Discord. We'd love to know and see where it's going. It's always fun to see something that we don't know about as well. You know, we can go hunting, but when it's given to us and see, really dive deep on it.
Yeah, and I just want to add quickly, if you enjoyed the episode or found something of value in it, if you would consider hitting the like button and or sharing either the YouTube or the podcast versions when they go up on Apple and Spotify. It helps with the algorithm a ton. Of course, just hanging out is more than enough, but if you'd like to help us a little bit extra, consider hitting that like button.
Yeah, really helps. J-Bell's apparently going to invite me to a Czech duck dinner.
I don't know if StreamYard Lake's going to like a duck
dinner.
Sure
like that at all. I'm not sure he's going to like that at all. We'll have to see how that pans out. I'll have to see. Hopefully there's some tofu there too. Thank you ever so much for joining us, everyone in the chat. We love it. Glad you've enjoyed the show. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, now on the topic of rough transitions, we don't have an outro set in this yet. So in case there's some latency from when I hit end broadcast, I'm going to just leave it on the screen. So sorry about that, but I'm being what's it called? You know, clarity sake. Just I'm going to remove us both and then hit the end broadcast, because there's some latency. If you hit end broadcast, sometimes it ends where it's playing currently rather than where you ended it in real time. So yeah.
So I need to make an outro video now, is what you're saying?
Yeah, or at least I just didn't have time to find where from a year or two ago the transmission terminated is. So
okay, yeah. It's all right. I can find it. Make something new. It's always good. An outro music would be quite good. So yeah,
more trans-Pacific, right?
Yeah,
or periapsis. There we go. The B side.
Yeah, we'll bookend it. Yeah, we'll book it. Much love to everybody. See you next week.
All right. Thanks for watching.